"Hi John, watch a bunch of your frame videos. I was wondering what circumstances you should allow yourself to fall into someone's frame. Like if they're older or in a position for you to show respect, or should you hold frame but show respect?" I actually thought about this. I recorded somewhat of a video and I went off on a tangent about models and things like that. And then I came back to, I was like, nah, this is not, let me think about this some more. And so I sat down and think about it some more. And I still couldn't come up with a really solid answer about this. And so I said, all right, ChatGPT, how would John Sonmez answer this question? And it said, great question. This really boils down to understanding the difference between holding your frame and being adaptable. Holding frame doesn't mean being rigid or combative. It means staying true to your core values, beliefs, and identity while navigating situations with confidence. There are absolutely circumstances where it makes sense to step into someone else's frame temporarily. For example, when dealing with someone older in authority or in a position where respect is due, it's not about, quote, losing your frame, but rather showing respect while maintaining your own strength. You can adapt without compromising who you are. Here's the key. Falling into someone's frame should be a choice, not a reaction. You should consciously decide to adapt their frame because it serves your goals, builds relationships, or shows respect, not because you're being pressured or manipulated. Think of it as a dance. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow, but you're always in control of your own moves. Showing respect doesn't mean sacrificing your self-respect. Hold your ground internally, even if you're navigating someone else's frame temporarily. That's the balance. So I kind of agree with this 100%. It makes sense. It is like a dance. Sometimes you follow, sometimes you lead, but it's intentional. You're intentionally adopting someone else's frame temporarily in order to serve the goals that you're trying to achieve. So let me give you an example of this. Let's say that you are in a martial arts studio. I think that's a good situation where you can understand where you have an authority that you are submitting yourself to in order to achieve a goal, right? You want to become better at, let's say, martial arts. So you've got a sensei or whatever it is, and in that situation, you have respect for your teacher because they're the one who's your coach. They're teaching you. And so you're going to step into their frame so you can learn some things. And because you're doing this out of respect. So if they say do 100 push-ups, you're going to do 100 push-ups, right? You're still not compromising your internal integrity, right? If they start to berate you or start to treat you in a manipulative way or belittle you, at that point, perhaps you're stepping back into your frame and saying, no, this is now going to be the dominant frame. Now, don't confuse this, okay? Some people are like, oh, if someone in authority says something that I don't like, I'm going to push back on that, right? So even in the case of, let's say, a martial arts instructor, right? Because especially MMA training, it can be fierce and it needs to be, right? So if I've got an instructor and he's like, stop being a little bitch, John, and he's kind of berating me a little bit, I can sense where that's coming from. If that's coming from a place of, hey, I'm trying to make you do your best, I'm trying to bring the best out of you, I'm not going to step out of his frame and then try to enforce my frame because I don't need to in that case, right? I understand what the motive is behind what's going on. By the way, before I continue, I got a new video capture card, so no more dropped frames. Speaking of frames, it's an Elgato 4K-X. Let me know what you think about this. So I know the videos have been choppy because I had this other video capture card with my DSLR camera. I don't want to go into all the details, but this thing can capture at like 120 frames a second. I'm capturing at 30 right now. So some of you video experts and stuff, let me know. I'm also doing a full color space, so I think my editor is gonna have to color correct this a little bit better, but there's more range in that. Again, a lot of technical mumbo jumbo. But anyway, just if the video looks better and it's less choppy, what I'd like you to do is just put a like on the video. That'll let me know. You can leave a comment below, but a like on the video will give me a pretty good indication that a lot of you guys are liking the quality level of this video. So anyway, back to the video. In that circumstance, you're gonna judge and you're gonna say, okay, does this make sense? Is this something that is constructive towards my goals or not, right? So I don't want you to always be like, all right, if someone in authority says something I don't like or someone who I've submitted to that authority, you can't be like that, right? You know, if you're a soldier, you got to listen to the commander. There has to be a chain of command, and you have to understand that. It's very important. I think today in society, so many people are opposed to authority. They're like, oh, I got to just hold my own frame all the time. And that's not correct. You should have your integrity, you should have your dignity, but you should be willing to follow. Because you can't be a good leader if you're not a good follower as well. And that's very important. And when we talk about frames, you just need to understand that when there is interaction between two people, there is going to be a colliding of frames and one will become the dominant frame. That you have to understand is a fundamental truth. And then the second thing you have to understand is how to strategically use that in interactions where it's necessary. So especially in combative interactions where someone is being combative towards you and you want to resolve that and you're handling that in the appropriate way, or especially in intersexual dynamics, right? If you're talking to a woman, you need to be able to influence her frame to bring her her into your frame so you can be the masculine leader in that interaction, right? And then also in a charismatic sense, right? When you're trying to influence people, you need them to come into your frame, right? So even as you're watching this video, you're probably coming into my frame because you want to learn something. Okay, and that's fine. That doesn't make you a lesser of a man. I learn things. I'm doing sales training right now from Jeremy Miner, and I'm listening to what he has to say. I'm not conflicting that. I'm not trying to hold my frame. I want to fully allow myself to be in that frame so I can learn something and benefit from it. If you want to go more in depth into all of these topics, you've heard me say it, but the Bulldog Mindset membership, there's a link down below, and we're going to be really diving into a lot of these. I've got a lot of really good plans for the membership, so jump in there, become part of the team. And if you want some more videos on frame, there's some more videos. Check it out on the channel. Last couple of videos, I'll try to put one up here, and I'll see you tomorrow.